Hello, my name is Christopher Life. I'm a founder of One Nation Party USA, and my intention today is to provide a matter-of-fact overview about what membership in One Nation means, how to register, and what to do once you've registered. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of our of our member registration process. And I'm going to just walk you through that step by step. And thank you for your interest. If you're watching this video, it means you have some degree of enthusiasm or interest to learn more about what we're doing. We appreciate your interest. We appreciate your time in watching this video. And I hope that it's clear and informative and leaves you knowing if registering as a member today is something that's a fit for you, and exactly how to go about doing that and what that means. Okay, so this is our, excuse me, this is our membership registration page. You can find it at onenation.party by just clicking membership, which is the center nav button right there. And we have an 8-step process. So at first you might say, whoa, that's like a lot of steps in order to register. And for us, registration of membership isn't a trite thing. It's not like clicking a like button or even just chipping in $20 as a donation. Membership is meaningful to us, and we're building a network of members who are aligned and who have a deep sense of connection to our purpose, such that they'll actually step up and play a role in participating in it. And so if someone's not really that interested, then you might be turned off by the fact that we have an 8-step membership registration process. Somebody who's really wanting to get involved with something in a meaningful way, in a substantial way, I think you'll realize that each of these steps is important. So I'm going to start with step 1. What is membership? First and foremost, we are all a part of one interconnected human family. And you could say we're all a part of the one human nation. And every person that's a part of this one human nation has a role to play in improving improving your own quality of life, improving the quality of life of those people around you, and improving the quality of life of all people and all of nature. And so in that regard, it makes everybody a member of the one nation. And so in one regard, everyone's already a part of this. However, One Nation Party USA is a specific organization that's designed to create transformations in our political system such that our political system and our government and your government systems reflect that reality that we are one human family and position us to operate as such. And so membership in One Nation Party USA is membership within an organization that is in service to the reality of our one human nation. We have articulated our membership benefits as, first and foremost, dignity, self-respect, and inspiration, knowing that you, in fact, are a part of something that is audacious enough to commit to a multi-decade path of organizing for systemic transformation, civilization redesign, and the deployment of that civilization redesign. So this is real. We are committed to a multi-decade, multi-generational path of integrating and implementing the most impactful and profound realizations that we have of what's needed to rebirth our human civilization, how we can run experiments that ultimately generate policy recommendations that can be administered at the level of cities and with mayors, at the level of states, at the level of our US national government, as well as policies that's relevant for other nations and municipalities and other nations, as well as policies that are relevant for our international and global relations. So we're looking to participate in the blueprinting of the future of humanity, the experimentation of some of those blueprint ideas, the crystallization of what we prove to work through policy, and then the distribution and dissemination of that policy through our political influence around the country and around the world. And so the first part of membership is just the dignity of knowing that you are a part, that self-respect, that pride, that inspiration of knowing that you're playing a role in something, participating at that breadth and depth of impact. The second major membership benefit is community, is being a part of people that are both very different from you, as well as people that share that same underlying draw for us to rise, integrate wisdom, love, and power, and provide powerful planetary stewardship going forward. So come and meet people like this, meet them online, meet them in your local chapters, meet them through your collaboration, your participation, your volunteer work, and build relationships and build community with people that you might never come across that have different ages, different ethnic backgrounds, different geographical backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds, but share that same central flame. I'm believing that, in fact, we can create a planetary paradise, and that's worth tactically working towards. The third benefit of membership is personal growth. And we can promise you that if you get involved, if you get involved with our programs, if you get involved with our projects, if you become an organizer, if you read our written material, if you watch our video material, you will grow as a person. You will be invited, initiated into all different layers of personal growth, leadership growth, improvement in your communications, in your mental processes, in your sense making, your leadership capacities, your capacities to take action in the world, the energetics of what we call coherent leadership, which is a integrated energy body between your mind, your heart, and your will center. So we are completely devoted to your personal growth. We have personal coaching as a part of our membership program. So all different ways that we can assure that you will experience personal growth by stepping into membership. And the fourth thing that I'm incredibly inspired by is the ability to be in a co-creative experience with other people who are bringing their genius forward, their unique interests and capacities forward, and to be able to have a context, a sandbox, to find those people and to be able to co-create, not in a trivial sense, but to really join genius and bring your gifts forward with other people who are bringing their gifts forward, and to create something together that we could never create on our own. At the level of local community organizing, at the level of working on the party and the mission and the content and the media and the movement and the organizing, it's such a fertile and rich space for co-creation. And I know that the people who are deeply involved thus far have really have a meaningful, fulfilling experience, knowing that they're in a true and authentic and real context for co-creation and collaboration. So those are the four main benefits. There's many other benefits, and you might have to just become a member to find out more of how it does benefit your life. So that's step number one, is just to understand what membership is. And at the heart of membership is saying yes to be a participant in our mission. It's becoming a member of the mission, such that our mission is your mission and our mission becomes a shared mission. And so step two is to really look at the mission, as articulated through our mission statement, to understand it, and to ask yourself, is this a mission that I am inspired to be a part of? Let me read it for you and unpack some of these different lines. One Nation Party USA mission. Our mission is to integrate those dedicated to planetary paradise, to empower Alwyn leaders to steward civilization redesign in all sectors and at all scales, to utilize the existing systems of government to accelerate societal transformations that enable our individual and collective potential, and to inspire all people to realize and remember that we are all creators on a mission. So we could spend an hour unpacking this. It's deep, it's rich, there's a lot contained here. I'm going to circle back around and reread the mission statement and just kind of speak a little bit into each line. Our mission is to integrate those dedicated to planetary paradise. Integrate. We are wanting to integrate those individuals that believe that we can create planetary paradise and that we can use American politics and American government as a launch pad to be able to do so. Whether those are thought leaders or other types of express leaders in the world, or just individuals who have this paradigm, have this orientation, but have it come into a large collective context of organizing. We're also talking about integrating organizations that are working on various facets of that and actually helping to be a context to bring those organizations together so that we can have dozens of organizations working in harmonic relationship in an integrated fashion in order to make sure that our organizations aren't working in silos, but are working in a fully integrated way. So we're going to integrate the people and the organizations that are ready to tangibly and tactically work towards full systemic transformation towards planetary paradise. So if you are that, if that describes you, then membership within One Nation will help you to integrate with other people and other organizations that are dedicated to the same thing. The second part of the mission, to empower Alwyn leaders to steward civilization redesign in all sectors and at all scales. Excuse me. So Alwyn is a topic you may or may not have heard much about. It's what we're referring to as our new political paradigm. It's a paradigm that transcends us versus them thinking, where different groups are fighting each other in order to gain benefit at the detriment of the other group. And Alwyn just moves us into a space of saying, no, we're not, this isn't about some group winning, another group losing. This is about listening to all different perspectives on any given topic and integrating those different perspectives with a level of rigor and a level of care to understand the fears and the concerns and the needs and the wants of all different stakeholders, and to apply our great American ingenuity to invent solutions through creativity that enable us to move forward into the next era of humanity, the next era of American politics, with better solutions that everybody can inherently see is a win for them, a win for their posterity, a win for all of humanity, and a win for all of life. So an all-win leader is someone who's dedicated to showing up that way. And we're going to talk about all-win leadership in a little bit. And we are here to empower all-win leaders to steward all the different sectors of society. So stewarding government is kind of the most pronounced. As a political party, we're looking to help all-win leaders to become mayors, to become governors, to become state representatives, to become congressional representatives, to become presidents and prime ministers around the world. But we are also helping and wanting to bring all-win leaders into positions of corporate leadership, into the nonprofit sectors, into community, into culture, into media, so that over the years, decades, and generations to come, through our mission, we'll have hundreds and thousands and ultimately millions of all-win leaders stewarding all different domains of society with a shared paradigm and a shared set of principles to be all-win leaders, working at the largest scale of multinational corporations and international affairs, all the way to the micro scales of a local business, a local community, even a family, even a group of friends. The next part of our mission is to utilize the existing systems of government to accelerate societal transformations that enable our individual and collective potential. So we want to fully utilize our existing systems of government by electing people into those positions of stewardship that share the all-win paradigm, as well as by developing policies that allow us to deploy public budgets in service to the most critical aspects of societal redesign, of human healing, of ecological healing, of developing new economic models, new social models, that help us to move beyond this kind of win-lose, growth at all costs, profit-centered global culture that we've created into a next mature culture of human stewardship. And so we want governments to actually be counterintuitively, ironically, the drivers of this change in era. And despite the fact that there's deeply ulterior motives in government, there's incumbent interests in government that are deeply entrenched, there is a deep amount of corruption in government, there's a deep amount of abuse of power, there are networks of power that are almost impossible to fully comprehend. And yet, despite that, we still believe that we can move people into positions of city leadership, state leadership, county leadership, and even national leadership that are carrying this call as the statesmen and the stateswomen of this next era of humanity, that despite those existing interests, that we do believe that those interests can and will give way as this rising generation, this rising consciousness that we carry organizes, takes ourselves extremely seriously, and doesn't wait for permission, but just decides to move in the halls of government across the country and across the world, so that government can be in direct service to individuals actualizing, so we can develop our emotional and intellectual capacities, we can develop our physical capacities, we can develop our creative capacities, we can develop our social capacities, we can heal from all different forms of trauma and fear that are totally incessant for most people. And we can create economic models that center and revolve around individual thriving and holistic well-being. And we can use governments to look at what is the total collective potential of humanity. What is the most amazing city we can create, the most amazing state we can create, the most amazing nation, the most amazing world that we can create. If we can imagine it, we can create it. And if we are ready to say yes to stepping into governmental leadership, then we can use the systems of government to be able to accelerate our actualization of our visions of our collective potential of a new era of humanity. And lastly, to inspire all people to realize and to remember that we are all creators, to help us to wake up from our disempowerment, to wake up from our fatigue and our lethargy and our apathy and our despair and our disengagement and our victimization, and to realize and remember that we are all creators. We are creating this world. We have to take responsibility for the role we've played in creating this world. And we have to realize that we have the power to create whatever we want next. And that each person, I believe, and the premise of our organization revolves around this, that people here on earth have a mission. Each person has a unique co-creative capacity, has a unique genius, has a unique sense of purpose. As we can help people to connect to that sense of purpose when they get out of just trying to survive, or get out of just trying to make money, or get out of all the cultural programs of what success should look like, or get out of the fears, the patterns of victimization and despair. That each person can realize that they have a special mission here. That they are a creator on a mission. And so our mission is to help people realize that they have a mission, and to help create a context of empowerment and support and organizing so that their missions can be fully actualized, and that they can respect the missions of others, and that each person can then become an actualizer and an empowerer of other people's missions, so that we create a popcorn effect of people who are finding their missions, that are inspiring other people to find their missions. And I believe that we can create a world in which 8 billion people on earth are alive with the flame of realizing and remembering that they too are a creator and that they too have a mission. And it may take years, it may take decades, it may take generations. But our mission is to inspire all people to realize and remember that we are all creators on a shared mission. And so with that, I ask you, are you inspired by this mission? Are you inspired to participate in the fulfillment of this mission? Because that's what membership is. When you say yes to that, you're saying yes to be a member, not of an organization, not of a network, not only of a political party, but a member of a mission. And we're inviting you to partner with us so that we can create and fulfill this mission together. So that's the first question, is are you inspired to participate in the fulfillment of this mission? And now the next part, step 3, is to realize that we have to be a certain flavor of awesome in order to fulfill this mission, in order to be collaborators, participants. And so we've created what we call the 5 principles of Alwyn leadership. And leadership doesn't just mean that you're becoming a CEO or you're running for governor or even that you're going to organize a local chapter. Leadership is how you live your life as a creator. And so the 5 principles of Alwyn leadership are designed to help you lead yourself through your life, to lead you into the most amazing and mythic expression of your life possible, to help you make choices that you feel phenomenal about. Because the choices you make improve your own quality of life legitimately. And the choices you make support and participate in helping others to improve their quality of life. And the choice you make somehow lend to the improvement of quality of life of all. And so these principles, these 5 principles of Alwyn leadership are: know yourself, know each other, know the world, create Alwyn solutions, and empower Alwyn leaders. We're not saying that this is a total list of everything that matters or every admirable characteristic or principle or trait, but these are just some of the specific ones that we want to highlight as far as what we refer to as the 5 principles of Alwyn leadership. And we invite you to really feel the degree to which these principles and aligning with these principles and adhering to these principles and practicing these principles and being in a community that's cultivating these principles, if this would support your life and who you want to be. And help to realize that it is these principles that are requirements and prerequisites to fully engage in the fulfillment of our shared mission. So within principle number 1, know yourself. We need to cultivate self-awareness. We need to know ourselves. We need to know how we think. We need to know how we feel. We need to know what our background is, what our propensities are, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are. We need to cultivate our self-awareness. We need to take responsibility for our own experiences, right? Not blaming the experience we have on other people, but realize the role that we've played in creating all of our conditions and all of our experiences. Yes, we are participating and being impacted by the choices of others. Yes, there's systems that have been created to subjugate people. And yet, the quality of our attitude, the quality of our creativity, the quality of our generativeness, the quality by which we lead ourselves and others is in fact informing the experience of being alive that we have. And we each need to take responsibility for that experience we're creating. We need to embody our ideals. What ideals do you have? What ideals do you want to see in the world? What ideals do you want other leaders to have? And how do those impact you and home base of who you are and how you live your life? We want to activate each person's personal genius. And so to know yourself and to cultivate self-awareness is to start to realize that you have special capacities. You are unique. You have special gifts, special interests, and inside of those interests and gifts is genius. And to know yourself is to know your genius and to create a reality in your life where you can bring your genius forward. And to know yourself is to be able to freely and clearly express yourself. Express yourself. Not just express culture's programming upon you, not just express your parents' programming upon you or your religion's programming upon you or anyone's programming upon you, but to express yourself, to know your truth, to trust yourself, and to express yourself in word, and to express yourself in action. So these are the interior dimensions of what we call know yourself. You have to know your world. But once you know your world and once you stabilize in your knowing of your world, you are now ready to know another person's world. And this is what we refer to as know each other. We have to become the people that are so stable in our own perspective that we can then set our perspective to the side and totally get into the perspective of another. Vulnerably and authentically, this is one of my great challenges. So I am not an expert at this, even by my communicating of it to you. I'm creating a set of principles for myself and all of us to work together, to aspire together, to hold ourselves accountable for months and years and decades as we grow into becoming the Alwyn leaders the world needs us to become. And so we are talking about respecting each other, respecting each other's sovereignty, respecting each other's own free will, respecting each other's own free choice so that we don't find ourselves inadvertently manipulating other people to be able to potentially serve our interests. We want to respect them, respect their dignity as a person, distinct from us, and yet 100% worthy of our shared humanity, worthy of our own unconditional love. So once we respect each other, then we can really listen to each other. We can take each other in, right? To listen is to be changed. To listen isn't just to hear words. To listen is to receive another person such that it changes who you are. You get into another person's world so much that your world changes as a result of it. And to listen carefully and to inquire people to share more so that we can really connect to what matters to them. Once we respect and listen to each other, now we're able to empathize with each other. Not just have sympathy for another person, but to really be willing to feel what they're feeling. To open our hearts to feel the grief and the fear of other people. Again, this is one of my areas of development. It might be one of your areas of development. Or you might already be great at this, but need to work on something else. But to really be able to open ourselves and say, I'm ready to feel your pain and share that with you. And I'm also ready to feel your joy and share that with you as well. And all of this supports us in communicating effectively, to be able to actually get the information and the perspectives and the fears and the desires that are living inside of myself, to be able to come out of myself and interact with the thoughts and emotions and fears and desires of another person so that we can come together in unity and even create a moment by communicating effectively. And ultimately, this enables us to see the world fully through the perspective of each other. The people that are around you, the people that are similar to you, people that seemingly are very, very different from you. We need to know each other. Thirdly, we need to know the world. We need to perpetually inquire the world. We need to educate ourselves. We need to have different experiences. We need to participate in the world. We need to ask more questions and understand how our physics works and how our biology works and how our ecological systems and our earth systems work and how our technology works and how our media systems work and how our education, our health systems work and how our governments work and how our governance works and how our legislative processes work and how our allocation of public budgets work. Like, we have to know our world. And the more that we learn, the more that we know, the more that we understand, the more that we can play a role in creating new solutions going forward. And we have to seek a holistic understanding. By perpetually asking more and more questions, it shapes up more and more of a holistic understanding so we can hold more of the totality of what's true, right? One of our greatest diseases as a nation is our partial understanding, where we just think we know something, but we really just know a little tiny sliver of the whole thing. And by asking more questions and by integrating diverse perspectives and by asking other people about topics from their perspective, we start to shape up a more holistic understanding, more holistic consideration set of understanding what's really going on and how all the parts are interconnected to each other. We must have a holistic understanding to be able to provide Alwyn leadership to the world. We must open our eyes and open our hearts to see the pain that's in the world and to feel it and to see the joy that's in the world and to feel it and to not avoid looking because we don't want to acknowledge the pain, right? The pain of subjugation, the pain of rape and murder and slavery and suicide, the pain of addiction and trauma and abuse and violence, the pain of governments and corporations completely and utterly abusing human life and animal life and ecosystems. In order to know the world, we have to be able to look at that pain. We have to cry those tears. We have to have that grief. We have to move through our own aversion of the hardest things to look at so that we then are ready and grounded to participate in transforming our world. And this all happens through experience. We have to know our world by creating opportunities for us to get involved, get engaged, participate. Social media and watching documentaries isn't good enough. We need to really get into the trenches so we can know how things work, so we can participate in the transformation. And we integrate diverse perspectives to improve our sense making, right? How do you know that what you think is true? And are you potentially wrong? And do you have judgments or biases that are potentially allowing you to maintain some type of silo of understanding that's really a partial truth or really not based upon truth at all? So the way that you might think about the world isn't actually how the world is. And it's only by integrating diverse perspectives on any topic that we improve our quality of sense making so that we have a closer relationship to how we perceive the world and how the world actually is in its totality, in its complexity, in its nuances. And so once we know ourselves, we know each other, and we know the world, we now are ready to create all-win solutions. We're ready to bring our purpose forward. We're ready to be as generative and creative as possible. We're ready to ask and answer the question, what do we want to create? And what do we need to create it? And how can we aspire to greater levels of influence and power so that we have greater capacities to create? So we want to become as generative as possible. And we want each to find and connect to our own sense of purpose on what we want to create. When you look out in the world and you see the gap between how the world and how the world could be, that's part of your own invitation to play a role in helping the world to actualize, to bridge that gap. And each of us see different things. Each of us feel called to participate in the world in unique ways. And so we are invited to each find our own sense of purpose in creating all-win solutions. Now, all-in solutions in and of themselves have a certain level of complexity and require a certain level of rigor. How do you know that an idea that you have is actually going to benefit all? Maybe it's just a theory or a hypothesis that won't actually benefit all. The way that we create all-win solutions isn't by inventing all-win solutions. It's by inventing and running experiments, to create and run experiments, to see what's possible, to learn through our experimentation process, to review the results of the experiments we run, to integrate the lessons that we learn, to iterate our experiments, to scale up our experiments. This is the process of running experimentation that helps us to get the feedback if our ideas are in fact all win. And as we run experiments, we gain energy, we attract resources, we gain our own competence and confidence in what we're creating. And this is how we grow paradise. We grow it just like you grow a plant. You grow a solution by running small experiments, iterating and scaling up and running larger and larger experiments. So to create all-win solutions is to know how to run all-win experiments. And this is the process of growing paradise around us all in the localities, running experiments in your homes, in your communities, in your businesses, and also running experiments at larger and larger scales. So we can, in fact, create paradise for all. And we get to live all in. We get to have that sense. In order to participate and bring your genius forward, you got to go all in. You got to transcend your fears and bring it all forward. And bring it all forward and keep bringing it all forward every day of your life. Bring the totality of yourself forward in each day and in service to all of life, right? All in for all life. And finally, the fifth principle of all-win leadership is to, in fact, become an empowerer of other all-win leaders, to inspire each other into leadership, to invite each other to commit to greatness, to initiate each other into all-win culture, to facilitate each other's empowerment, and to expand the network of all-win leaders. So here are our 5 principles of all-win leadership. And this is the second question that I have for you in how you will know if registering as a member of One Nation Party USA is something that's aligned and a fit for you. Are you inspired to cultivate these principles of leadership? Are you? Do these speak to who you want to be? And what I can say is that if this mission speaks to what you want to see created and actualized in the world, and these principles speak to who you want to be, you are already a member of this mission. And I invite you now to formally register, to formally express and assert your membership by registering as a member within our network. The process of registration doesn't cost anything. You just complete this form right here. Complete your first name, last name, email address, phone number, street address, city, state, zip code, age, identified ethnicity, your profession, the political background you previously most affiliate with. Check these boxes that you affirm alignment with the mission. You affirm alignment with the 5 principles of all-in leadership. Press submit and welcome. You have registered as a member of One Nation Party USA. And we're honored. And if you're doing that right now, if you're going to do it, I just want to say we are honored by you stepping forward and blending your life force energy and your participation with this shared mission. Because this shared mission isn't very interesting if you have a couple hundred or a couple thousand people involved. Because we have tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and ultimately millions of people who have stepped up and said, I'm willing to participate. I'm willing to participate in something that I know isn't a quick fix. I'm willing to participate in something for years, for decades, potentially generations, as my children follow suit with what I've participated in. the culture that I create in my home, my community. And so I invite you right now to fill out this very simple form and to register your membership. Once you press submit, we are now on to step 5. Step 5 is you understanding our context this year in 2020. Because this year we're running a campaign called the Life 2020 campaign. And this campaign is designed to launch One Nation as a new American political party. I'm stepping forward and presenting myself as a presidential candidate as a integrated and intentional way to begin launching the legitimacy of our party. And this campaign, as this presidential campaign and this launch campaign, has some very specific objectives. Number 1, to create maximum exposure of the One Nation Party USA brand, to enroll as many people into the network as we possibly can by waving the flag and saying, if you're ready for deep systemic change in service to the full actualization of our individual and collective potential, and you are ready to organize, we are organizing here. Here's a rally point. We invite you to come along. The second goal of this campaign is to build the initial national network of members committed to our long-term mission. The third goal is to establish the Alwyn political paradigm and culture, to talk about it throughout the year, to bring this message into all different types of media channels and distribution channels and existing networks. We have a book coming out. We have video content coming out. We have social media content coming out. So we are here to blast open and explode our awareness of an all-win political paradigm and how we have a choice to rise above the existing win-lose political paradigm. Our other purpose is to integrate existing movements and organizations and networks and leaders and use this campaign as a context to bring people together. Next is to expand the public awareness about the needed systemic transformations and help people to realize that there's no incremental change that's going to help to escape the impending collapse scenarios that are ahead of us. We have peak oil that we're running into. We have ecological collapse that we're running into. We have potential financial collapse, social collapse, political collapse. We have people that are just giving up because life isn't seeming to offer a sense of hope. That despair is starting to really creep up, and there's extreme suffering all around the world happening as systems are changing and beginning to collapse. So we're here to wave the flag and say, listen, it's time for us to completely abandon thinking about incremental changes, and we must apply our generative creativity in thinking about systemic change. We're going to use this campaign to share a coherent civilization redesign plan for humanity over the next 20 years. How is it going to look? What's it going to take? How do we navigate? Where do we go from here? What do we do? How do we all show up to participate in creating the world we want at a planetary scale? We're going to begin to reveal a coherent vision and plan for doing so. And lastly, we're going to reveal a coherent vision of a thriving future planetary society. Not just an idyllic utopia that isn't grounded in the details, the logistics, the administration of that new human era. And so this is the purpose of this launch campaign. As a member, we are asking you to participate in this launch campaign. And we're asking you to participate financially in this launch campaign. We're asking every member to realize that one of your forms of participation is financial. Financial is not the only way to participate. It's not the only resource that matters. It's not the only way that you nourish the mission, but it's one of the critical ways that you nourish the mission. And we're asking you, and we're asking every member to say, I will be a financially contributing member. And that financial contribution is going to enable us to have the most robust 2020 campaign we can imagine, to create the full, to achieve our purposes in launching One Nation, our all-in political paradigm, really powerfully. And we can't do that without your financial support. And so we're asking each of our members in step 6 to participate financially and to complete that right here. And the first step is what we call the activation contribution, and to select a one-time amount that you feel is as generous as possible that you can bring forward. And you can click through this on this drop down, select between $25, $50, $100, $250, $500, $1,000, $2,500. We trust you that in this moment, you'll know what the right amount is. For many of you, it's going to be $25. For some of you, it's going to be $2,500. And for a lot of others, it's going to be somewhere in between. But you know what amount of contribution is going to feel good for you. It's going to feel like you're not being cheap, you're not holding out, but you're being generous, and giving yourself a sense of dignity and self-respect for knowing that the financial resource that you've worked hard to be able to have at your disposal can be funneled into something as profound and impactful as what we're creating together. After you select your one-time activation contribution, it's going to bring you to the next screen right inside this window. And that next screen is going to allow you to select from one of 6 different options for a monthly backing support. And we're asking every member to support the organization both with a one-time activation contribution as well as a monthly backing support. On the low end is a $9 a month option, and you can select $25 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, or more. And again, we ask you to select the amount that's sustainable and generous, where you can feel good about participating in this shared mission every single month. So we ask you please to take a moment right now and to complete this financial dimension of your membership registration. If you don't have any money, then we don't expect anything from you financially. That membership registration form above the page is enough. But if you do have financial resource, if you do have an income, then we invite you to completely step forward right now and participate and bring that forward so that we can all bring these streams of financial revenue forward so that we can fund this mission by the membership for all of life. And it's that reoccurring revenue that gives us a financial foundation of stability so we can grow this organization with our growing reoccurring revenue base as it pertains to expenses and logistics and budgeting and staff and all the things that are needed to really anchor in this organization. It's your reoccurring revenue base that's going to help provide that stability and that firm foundation throughout 2020 and through the years to come as we roll out One Nation Party USA nationally. So for those of you who right now are getting out your payment information, who are completing this, you maybe just pause the video right now and complete this element. I just want to say thank you authentically from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for participating so that we can make this mission and make our visions come into reality fully. Now, the last part, second to last part of membership is for you to start to craft your own membership experience. What does that mean? We have a suite of programs, and your membership experience is going to be your own self-selected relationship to our different programs. Do you want to get involved with our regular meditations? Do you want to get involved with one of our local chapters or start a local chapter? Do you want to listen to One Nation Radio? Do you want to be a part of our monthly online coaching programs? Do you want to get involved in our online forum? And the list goes on. So click this button, read more, and read the overview of all of our different member programs and schedule the time and kind of gear yourself up to read through those different pages and opt in to the different programs that inspire you and just follow that thread of our programs to start to create and craft for yourself your own membership experience. One of the programs that we're most inspired by is our Discovery Call program, which means that as a new member, you receive a call and you participate in a call with another member every other week, so that you both meet other members of the network and discover our membership base, as well as begin talking with other members about how you can play a role, how your unique genius, your unique purpose can express itself in collaboration and co-creation with other One Nation members and with our organization and mission. So definitely the first thing to do once you register for membership is to register for our Discovery Call program, and then start to have those calls with other members. And finally, step 8, now that you've registered for membership, you are a financially supporting member, you've looked at our programs, now it's time to start building the network and inviting other people to join the network as well. And some of the things you can do to do that are you can share with others why you chose to become a member of One Nation. You can invite others to watch our announcement video, which you've likely seen by now, designated to start the conversation and give people a kind of like initial, whoa, like, okay, I get what they're doing. Invite others to read more on our website, subscribe to our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, opt in to our email opt-in to our text message opt-in, which you can see right here how people do that down here. So they can start to get our text communications, our email communications, and invite people to local chapter meetings, or to participate directly in the offerings that we have that are public, like our group meditations and like One Nation Radio and like our group coaching program. So a lot of our member programs are also available for people from the general public to just come to and experience One Nation for the first time. And lastly, you can walk other interested friends through this 8-stage process yourself, and just walk them through this webpage, or you can literally share this video that you've watched with them, and that will then walk them through this 8-stage process so that we can continue to expand the network. And that's what we have to do here, is to get clear on what our shared mission is, and then to build a network of thousands and ultimately millions of people participating in the shared mission. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for hearing me all the way through. I hope that it was clear. You're welcome to message us on social media, message the person who sent you this video, or send us an email at participate@onenation.party with any further questions. You can get on the phone with somebody and talk that all through. And whether it pertains to you registering as a member, whether it pertains to you registering your financial participation, or whether you've done those things and now you just want to talk to somebody because you want to get more involved. So all those things are available, and you can always email us at participate@onenation.party, and someone will be in touch with you shortly. Again, thank you for your time. Welcome to this network as a member of our mission. And just to close us out, I'm going to read our mission one last time. Our mission is to integrate those dedicated to planetary paradise, to empower Alwyn leaders to steward civilization redesign in all sectors and at all scales, to utilize the existing system of government to accelerate societal transformations that enable our individual and collective potential, and to inspire all people to realize and remember that we are all creators on a shared mission. Thank you for your time and attention. Hope you have a wonderful day. I hope to interact with you and participate in the co-creation and actualization of this shared mission.